Hello, Mr. Bernie.
Hello, Rezan. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Very well. So there's my new, oh, why did it cut the bottom off? My new December calendar. Let me see.
Yeah,
There it is. There's the whole thing. So it's December, last
yeah.
month of the year. So life is going so quickly. So Rezan, tell me about school today.
And we have because of the Friday, last Friday, we have done a match
Okay.
in the middle break for an
Mm-hmm.
hour. And our friends say that we get the play zone, so we can
Mm-hmm.
play.
Mm-hmm.
But they say false teacher. So our teacher of the PE is so angry, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard PE class for us. So hard 80 minutes. And on the other hand, I have violin course and I forgot
Mm-hmm.
my violin at home, and
Oh
my
no.
take it to me,
Yeah.
and that's all.
Okay. I see you've been playing the violin a lot. I saw some of your videos.
Thanks.
Yes. Now, how many followers do you have on YouTube?
I think 1,000 and something. I'm not seeing that much.
Okay. Now, do you get any profit from that? Do you earn anything from that?
No. Actually, if I don't know falsely, you can start to earn some money after 10,000 or something.
Okay. So you need a lot more
Yeah,
likes, huh? A lot more subscribes. Yeah.
yeah.
So, this morning, one of my students and I were reading about these three brothers, and let me, we were reading this article here, and it talked about these three brothers in Tokyo, and they, now I can't find it. But anyways, that they started a YouTube channel and they're now up
Oh,
to 106,000 subscribers.
oh,
So,
really?
so good for them. And they got the gold thing you get from YouTube for having that many subscribers. So
Yeah,
maybe someday, Rezan, maybe someday.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just remind you, the other day we talked about this word and we said it's an unusual word because it has
Yeah,
two silent letters in it. So how do you say that word?
self.
Salve, salve,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
salve. And do you remember what a salve is?
If I'm not false, it's the medicine one, and
Right.
you put on your skin and
Rub it.
it's around.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, and remember we said, and you're right, it is a medicine. Remember, we said it's a medicine that's a cream like that.
yeah,
It's not the kind of medicine you take in your mouth. You wouldn't put it in your mouth.
yeah,
It's that kind of medicine that's a cream. And I had that one for itching, and this one for muscle rub.
yes,
Now, Bridget, I realize you're a lot younger than me, but sometimes when you go to the gym and you work really hard, do you get home and your arms kind of
yes,
hurt a little bit?
yeah,
That's what the muscle rub is for. Okay. So,
yeah.
all right. Now, today, did you ever hear of a famous artist or famous singer or famous soccer player or something who uses a name that is not their real name?
Yeah.
Can you think of someone who does that?
Um, like uh, I don't remember who, but I know there is so many, not so many actually. There is some peoples that doing like that
Right, right.
without their name.
Okay, and so today we're going to look at a word that relates to that. But first of all, we have to think back to Greek. And in Greek, this word, pseudo, means false or fake. Now you understand those words, false or fake, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And also in Greek, this word, nym, means word or noun or name. Okay. And those three words are very closely, very similarly related. So can you suppose for me, what do you think that is?
Pseudonym. False fake name or something.
Right. So a false name, a name that is not a person's real name. So here it is right here. Okay. Pseudonym, and it says pseudonym, a name that someone uses instead of their real name. Okay. So maybe someday if you become a musician, you'll decide that you want to keep Rezan Yeshelman private and call yourself some other name.
Maybe. I don't think so.
People do that sometimes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a false name, and this is very, very common. In fact, the famous, everyone calls him Ataturk, but that was not his real name, right? What was his real name?
Mustafa Kemal.
Right. But if you said that to me, I don't know who that is. But if you said Ataturk, yes, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
You know, because in some ways his pseudonym became more famous than his real name, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. So pseudonym, very, very common. All right. So let's think for a second. Ataturk was a great military leader and a great government leader, and he used a pseudonym. What other kinds of people use pseudonyms?
As you say, some musicians or artists, or like much of the car brands find their surname, but some of the car brands is same.
Okay. Do you think some people use pseudonyms to help keep them private?
No.
I sometimes wonder if some like famous writers and things use a pseudonym so that no one knows who they really are. Kind of like Superman.
Yeah, could be.
You know, that they want to keep private, and so they do that. I also think sometimes a pseudonym can be used because the pseudonym is symbolic, that it has meaning to it. And so maybe that would be another reason. All right, my friend. So that'll be our word of the day. But today we're actually going to do two. So I want to move over to Rachel, and you can see this word is quite a mouthful. Okay, quite a big word. So let's see how she pronounces it.
Pronounce this word. So I had to look it up. Here's the American English pronunciation of this word. Anesthesia. Anesthesia. Anesthesia.
Anesthesia.
Anesthesia. Anesthesia. I didn't know how to pronounce this.
Okay. Can you try it, Rezan? How do you say it?
Anesthesia.
It's a hard word to say, isn't it? Anesthesia. Anesthesia. Okay, anesthesia. And do you know what anesthesia is?
If I'm not false, it's something like when you take it, you don't feel the place that
exactly. Very good. Very good. So anesthesia, and first of all, let's just put down it's a noun. And let's medicine to relieve pain. So an aspirin. I use Tylenol sometimes, if you know what that is, and that takes away pain. But you know what, Rezan? This is a salve, but it's also an anesthesia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
because it takes away the pain in your arms when you're
yeah.
after you've worked out really long. Rizan, are you still thinking that someday you would like to be a doctor?
Actually, I'm not think because now because of the projects, I muchly want to be an engineer.
An engineer.
Yeah,
Cool. You're a young Turkish man, and so many young Turkish men want to be engineers, don't they?
yeah. Actually,
Yeah. That's the truth. Okay, so anesthesia, and you did a good job pronouncing that. Now,
thanks.
I wanted to look at two astronomy pictures of the day, and this one was just taken recently. And do you remember when we read about this, what this is?
The planets.
Okay, but think this green thing here with this coming out behind it.
Mm,
Did we learn this word?
comets.
Is that a word we learned
Yeah,
before or
yeah.
not?
Yes, yes.
Okay, right. And this comet is the comet Atlas that is in the sky right now. Isn't the green color interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, can you think what might cause green to come from this comet?
Because of eyes burning, I'm gonna say, but it's false. I know.
Well, that's true. It's not burning. But one thing that I wondered about, you know that when different elements burn or heat up, they turn different colors. And I think copper. Now, do you know
Yeah.
copper?
Yes.
I think copper, when it gets hot, it turns green, I think. So I thought that was really, really an interesting picture. And by the way, just to let you know two things. On a comet, this is a comet. This center part right here is called the coma.
Coma.
Okay. So that's the coma of the comet. Now, this other part, this is really easy to know. Can you guess what this is that follows out behind the coma?
The line.
Okay. Now, when you see this, it'll make a lot of sense to you.
Tail. Yeah.
Right. Just like a tail of a cat goes behind the cat, right?
That's
Or
where
the
they're
tail.
saying tailed star to these
Okay.
things.
Okay. And so there we have that. Now, before we look at one more picture, I just wanted to say something about what you're saying. When you say, if I am not false, try saying this, if I am not mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a good phrase to use, if I am not mistaken. All right, I wanted to look at one other one because I thought it was so interesting. Now, Rezan, when I saw this, first of all, it's not very well focused.
Yeah.
And if I am not mistaken, I thought it was Mars.
Yeah.
Why?
Like because there is dust on it, so and there is some rocks, and the Mars is, yes, it's a little bit smaller than the Earth, but like it's nearly you can see storms or the other things that here
Right.
neither.
Right. And that's what I thought. I wondered if it was Mars, but it was during one of their dust storms that they have on Mars, and that's why it was blurry.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when I scrolled down. Look what this actually is.
Is it Venus?
Titan.
Titan?
Titan.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of the moons of Saturn, Titan, the largest moon in the solar system, and Titan, remember, it has an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And most moons do not have an atmosphere. And at one point, NASA and the ESA, the European Space Organization, were able to land a probe on Titan 20 years ago in the year 2005. and they actually got a look at what the surface looks like. Now, unfortunately, the look was not very clear. It's very
Yeah.
blurry, but you got an idea. So that was the first time that they were able to land something on the surface of Titan. Wow.
Yeah.
The color surprised me. All right.
Brown. Yeah.
All right. Let's go on. Today, I wanted to finish the results that we had been reading about. And remember that we were looking at the Curiosity rover, which this picture is kind of dumb. That's not really how it looks. Are you sleepy, buddy?
Yeah, kind of.
Did you have a long day?
Yeah.
I was just talking just before this class to your cousin Zaria, and
Yeah.
she said she was in school for 9 hours today. So she was kind of,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So anyways, Curiosity on Mars. And we read about the experiment, them looking for carbon on Mars. And today we're going to look at the results. So there are only 2 paragraphs. How about if you read the first one and I'll read the second one? And that's what we'll do today. Go ahead.
I'm still seeing the
Oh,
title.
I'm sorry, my fault. Okay, so what I showed you is there's the article.
Yeah.
Doesn't really look like Curiosity, okay? And we read all this about carbon, and now we're down to results. So Rezan, you read the first one, and I will read the second one, okay?
I got it. Okay. We found a lot of carbon in our sample. In fact, we found 4 times as much carbon as previous experiments that had slightly different steps. We know that some of our carbon was left over after previous
Previous.
experiments. There are no people on Mars to help clean out our instruments.
The rest of the carbon we found matches carbon isotope values from a lot of sources. They match meteorites from Mars. They also match carbonate, which is a chemical found in lots of rocks. The carbon isotope values we found in our samples are also within the range of living things. So, Rezan, it sounds to me like they found a lot of carbon, which is great, but they're not sure where it came from. How much of it came from meteorites, how much just happened to be in the rocks, and how much came from living things. Rezan, do you see what I wrote about this word right here?
Yeah.
Came before. So my previous class was with Zaria. Okay. Previous to that, I had 4 classes this morning. So previous means it came before. Okay. So it sounds like they found a lot of carbon, but they're just not sure how much was from living things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
And Rezan, I can't help but think, I think it would be the same thing if we were looking at carbon here on Earth, because did the carbon occur naturally in a rock, or is it left over from a dead plant or a dead animal? I don't know. Now, do you understand what he meant in this sentence?
Yeah, I got it. I understand it right now.
In other words, because the laboratory is on Mars and there are no people there, they really needed someone after the experiment to go in and clean everything out and get it all nice and clean before the next experiment.
Yeah.
But there was nobody there with a paper towel like I have here to clean it out. Okay?
Okay.
All right, my friend. Now, when we finished last week, we finished with these somewhat scary words. Brian writes, he was alone in the roaring plane with no pilot. He was alone. Alone. Why do you think he said alone once, twice, 3 times?
Because it feels like more unusual
Okay. It's unusual to be, what, he's 13 or 14 years old and alone in an airplane because the
Yeah.
pilot is dead. And it feels really, really unusual. Now, Rezan, you and I are absolutely alike in one thing. If I had the chance to fly the airplane, I would love that. And so
Yeah.
would you. But I'd also like to know the pilot is right here beside me just in case I don't know what I'm doing. Okay.
Yes.
I think Brian thought it was kind of cool when he was flying the airplane, but the pilot was there. Now that the pilot is dead, I don't know about you, but I'd be really scared.
Me neither.
Me too, you'd say. Okay. All right. Here we go, my friend. Would you start chapter 2 for a time?
Am I read first?
Rezan, if you're really sleepy, I'll do the reading today. What would you like?
No. It's not a problem for me.
Okay, then you go ahead. You start.
Okay. For a time that he could not understand, Brian could do nothing, even after his mind began working and he could see what happened. He could do nothing. It was as if his hands and arms were leads.
Lead. This is a
Yes.
metal lead and it's very heavy. So he's just sitting there like this. He doesn't know what to do. Then he
Okay.
looked for ways for it not to have happened. Be asleep, his mind screamed at the pilot. Just be asleep and your eyes will open now and your hands will take the controls and your feet will move to the pedals. But it did not happen.
The pilot did not move. Expect uh, that his head rolled and neck impossibly loose as the plane hit a small bit of turbulence.
The plane. So in other words, Rezan, the pilot's head is doing this as they fly. But he's dead.
Yeah.
And that's why his head keeps moving. The plane. Somehow the plane was still flying. Seconds had passed, nearly a minute, and the plane flew on as if nothing had happened. And he had to do something, but did not know what. Help.
He had to help. He stretched one hand toward the pilot, so his fingers were trembling and touched the pilot's on chest. He didn't know what to do. He knew there were
Procedures.
procedures that you could do mouth to mouth or victims of heart attacks and push their chest CPR, but he didn't know how to do it. Any in and any and in any case could not do it with the pilot who was sitting up in the seat and was strapped into his seat belts. So he touched the pilot with the tips of his fingers, touched him on the chest, and could feel nothing, no breath, no rise, and no fall of breathing, which mean that the pilot was almost certainly dead.
So, and Rezan, this word is heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
So he
Sorry.
tries touching the pilot just a little, and he was hoping the pilot would suddenly wake up. Now he realizes the pilot is not going to wake up.
Yeah.
Okay. Please, Brian said, but did not know what or who to ask. Please. The plane lurched again, hit more turbulence, and Brian felt the nose drop. It did not dive, but the nose went down slightly and the down angle increased the speed. And he knew that at this angle, this slight down angle, he would ultimately fly into the trees. He could
Yeah.
see them ahead on the horizon, where before he could see only sky. So because of the wind, the plane shook a little bit, and now just a little bit, it's pointing down. Brian has to do something.
He had to fly it somehow. He had to fly the plane. He had to help himself. The pilot was gone. Banks is it correct?
Beyond.
Beyond anything he could do. He had to try it and fly the plane.
He turned back in the seat, facing the front, and put his hands, still trembling, so he's so scared his hands are doing this, still trembling, on the control wheel, his feet gently on the rudder pedals. You pulled back on the stick to raise the plane. He knew that from reading. You always pulled back on the wheel. He gave it a tug and it slid back toward him easily, too easily. The plane, with the increased speed from the tilt down, swooped eagerly up and drove Brian's stomach down. He pulled too hard, Rezan. He pushed the wheel back in and went too far this time, and the plane's nose went below the horizon and the engine speed increased with the shallow drive. So he pulls it too hard, he pushes it too hard. He needs to slow down. Go ahead.
Too much. He pulled back again more gently this time, and the nose floated up again too far, but not as violently as before. Violently as before. Then down a bit too much and up again very easily, and he front of the engine, calling
Settled.
saddles when he had it aimed at the horizon, and it seems to be steady. To he held to will where it was. Let his breath, which he had been holding all this time, and tried to think what to do next.
So now that the plane is not going higher, but also not going lower,
Yeah.
he needs to have some thinking time. So now he's going to think, what do I do now? It was a clear blue sky day with fluffy bits of cloud here and there. And he looked out of the window for a moment, hoping to see something, a town or village. But there was nothing, just the green of trees, endless green, and lakes scattered more and more thickly as the plane flew. Where?
He was flying but didn't know where. Had no idea where he was going. He looked at the dashboard of plane, studied the dials, and hoped to get some help. Hoped to find a compass, but it was also confusing. A jumble of numbers and lights. One light place in
Let's
the top.
stop there because we're so close. So he's looking at the dashboard
Oh,
of the plane in front of him with all these numbers and things, but he doesn't know what any of them mean. And he's also looking for one of these. And you see, I put it there.
a compass.
Okay, what does that mean in Turkish?
Pusula.
Is that a thing that shows north, south, east, west?
Yes.
Yes. That's what he's looking for, because at least that will give him some general directions about the way he should go. Rezan, buddy, you need a good night's sleep, okay?
Mr. Vernie.
All right, I hope it's almost time for bed. A
Thanks.
pleasure to talk to you, my friend, okay? Good night.
Me and see you. Goodbye. Good
Bye-bye.
afternoon, Mr. Vernie.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good